let's go through the bell work. We need to start off by writing this system before we can solve it. So can anybody give me one equation that we can write using the information that they provided? Yes, sir. 10x plus what?
25.
Plus 25. What would that be equal to? What do you mean? Like the word? So I should write...
No, like the limits.
What'd you say? 375. Okay, so let's look at this equation and let's break it down because I want to make sure that the equation is making sense. Where did this 10 come from? 10 seats right here, right? What is it that seats 10? The limo seats 10?
Or the van.
The vans, sorry, I could not hear. The vans seat 10. All right, so 10 is the seats, and X is number of vans. This is specifically seats in a van. So when I multiply them together, it tells me how many people I can fit in that many vans. Talk to me about the 25. Where did that come from?
That's the price.
Okay, so this is cost to rent van. And what about this 375 over here?
I think that's the
What'd you say, Sakai? Total what? Total budget. Yeah, sorry, I just couldn't hear that last word. So that's total budget or total money. Okay. So when I'm looking at this, the two sides of my equation have to actually be equal. So they need to be telling me about similar things. The right-hand side of my equation is telling me about money, right? 375. Does the left-hand side tell me about money? Does everything on the left-hand side tell me about money? No. What does tell me about money on the left? $25 tells me about money, but the 10 tells me about seats. I think we are going to need to use the 10x, but I don't think it's going to belong in the same equation that has the 375 because it has to be equal to money. All right, so let's look for things that only have dollar signs in our equation. We already know the 375 right here. Is there anything else that has a dollar sign in front of it? 40. And Sakai, you said what else? 25. 40 is the price for what? For the limos, yeah. This is how much it costs to rent the limo. And the 25 is the cost for what? The cost for the vans. All right, so I need a variable that means how many vans are being rented. Dalen, I think you chose X before. Do you guys want to stick with that? You want to stick with X for number of vans? Okay. So I'm going to write this as a 25X here. Hold on just a second. So I'm going to have 25x. So the 25 is the cost for a van. When I take the cost for the van and I multiply it by the number of vans, this gives me total cost for vans. What else do I need? There was something else that you guys said had a dollar sign in front of it that's not in my equation yet. The limos. How much were the limos? 40. So I would have 40 That's the cost for the limo. What would I need to do to find out how much it costs for all the limos I'm going to get? Put in another variable. What variable should we use? Sounds good. Put my equal sign back in here. Okay, so the 40 here is the cost for a limo. The Y is the number of limos. So when I multiply those together, that gives me the total limo cost. So I want to think about this equation. 375 is the total budget, right? If I take all the money that I'm going to spend on the vans together with all the money that I'm going to spend on the limos, that should give me all the money that I'm planning on spending together, right? Does this equation make sense? All the money I spend on the vans plus all the money I spend on the limos gives me all the money I have to spend total. Yes. Okay. So there's one of our equations. I'm going to shrink my words down just a little bit. We need another equation. We know that X means number of vans and Y means number of limos. Help me out with what our other equation should be here now. Seats. How many seats do we need? 145, because that's the total number of people that are going to be attending. So this needs to be equal to 145. Here's total people. I know I'm going to need an X and a Y in this equation. But X is just number of vans. If I add the number of vans together with the number of limos, does that tell me the number of people? What do I need to do? Put 10 and 15. 10 should go with which one? X. And what should go with the Y again? 15. This is seats in the van. And the 15 is seats in the limo. Gotta scoot this over a little bit. So all the seats that I have amongst all the vans, together with all the seats that I have amongst all the limos, should give me enough space for every person's rear end, right? Okay, so we have our two equations now. 25x plus 40y equals 375. 10x plus 15y equals 145. We have three different methods for solving systems of equations. We have substitution. To use substitution, we need one of our variables that's all by itself, and then we take whatever it's equal to, and we use that and put it in the place of that variable in the other equation. We have linear combination. This is the one where we add our two equations together and we make something cancel out. And if it won't cancel when we add, then we have to multiply one of the equations first, so that when we add them, they cancel out. What's the other method that we have for solving other than these two? Graphing. Is graphing a very good option with this particular problem? Not really. I wouldn't choose that one on this because the numbers are very large. It's going to make it difficult to graph. So which method do you guys want to use? Substitution or linear combination? Substitution? Substitution means we're going to need to take one of the variables, either the x or the y in the blue equation, or the x or the y in the red equation. We're going to need to get it all alone. We can do substitution. All right, let's go with that method then. Which variable do you want to get all alone? X, okay. Do you want to do it in the red or the blue equation? Red is the first one that I heard, so I'm going to go with red. It does not matter which one you choose. As long as you execute the method properly, it will work. Okay, so let's go with the red equation. I want to get this all by itself. So what do I need to do in order to get it alone? Not subtract 10. We are going to get rid of the 10, but I can't get rid of that first. What is being added here? 15y, so I need to subtract 15y as I try to get it alone. So I'm going to subtract 15y from both sides. That gives me 10x equals 145 minus 15y. Now I want to get rid of the 10, but what operation is connecting the 10 and the x together? Multiplication. So what do I need to do if I want to get rid of it? Divide. If you do it to one side, you have to do it to everything on the other side. So we're going to need to divide the 145 and the 15. Just like when we distribute with multiplication, we distribute with division the same way. So I would have x equals, what's 145 divided by 10? What is 145 divided by 10? Grab your calculator, see if you don't know. What is 145 divided by 10? 14.5. Minus, what's 15 divided by 10? 1.5. Okay, this is what is equal to x. So I'm going to take everything over here, and it's going to go into my other equation in the place of what? In the place of the x. So this is going to come up here. So I'm going to recopy the blue equation, but instead of writing x, we're going to put in 14.5 minus 1.5y. All right, so I have 25, and then 14.5 minus 1.5y plus 40y equals 375. What would I do next? What can I do next? Parentheses. What can I do with the parentheses? I can't combine these. They're not like terms because one has a y and one doesn't. What can I do? When I have a number out in front of parentheses and I have stuff inside the parentheses, what can I do with that? Yep, we're going to distribute here. Grab your calculators for me. What's 25 times 14.5? What is 25 times 14.5? How much? 362.5. Now I need 25 times 1.5. 37.5y plus 40y equals 375. What can I do after that?
Put the y's together.
Put the y's together, absolutely. What do I get if I put those y's together? What do we get if we put the y's together?
5.
Close. Remember, this is a negative.
Negative 6.
Well, this one's negative, but this one's positive. close. Is it going to be negative or is it going to be positive? Positive 2.5 because the 40 is bigger. So I'm going to have 2.5y. We have 362.5 in front of that equals 375. Where do I go from here? Yep, we're going to subtract 362.5 from both sides. What is 375 minus 362.5? Is that 12.5? Yeah. Okay. And then after that, what do we do? Divide. So I'm going to divide both sides by 2.5. What is 12.5 divided by 2.5? What is 12.5 divided by 2.5? 5. What did we just figure out? What does that 5 represent? How many what we rented? What does the Y mean? You're on the right path. What did we say the Y meant? Number of limos. So that 5 is a number of vehicles, but it's specifically the number of limos. Okay, I still need what? Number of vans. How do I find that out?
Under the top.
Yep, we're going to substitute in to one of these two equations. Since I went with the blue one, or we substituted into the blue one before, are you guys okay if we substitute into the red one to figure out the number of vans? Okay, so I would have 10x plus 15, and then I'm going to substitute in 5 in the place of y, equals 145. What's 15 times 5? 15 times 5. 75. Nope, that's okay. What next? What do I need to get rid of first before the 10?
75.
The 75. How can I make that cancel?
You subtract on both sides.
We're going to subtract 75 on both sides. What's 145 minus 75?
65.
Close. The 5s are going to cancel, so it's going to end with a 0.
60.
14 minus 7?
70.
70. There we go. And then I divide both sides by 10. How many vans do they need? 7. So if I was going to take this and put it back into words, they need 5 limos and 7 vans. Wonderful. All right. For the remaining class time that we have together today, you guys need to work on a review that is on Canvas. So you can do this from your phone or from your computer. If you are not in the habit anymore of bringing your Chromebook to school, I want you to go ahead and get back into that habit. We're going to be using it almost every single day in here. One of the reasons for that is that the multiple choice portion of your final exam will be on Canvas. So I want you guys in that habit so that you don't forget it on final exam day. So bring it with you every day for the rest of this week and all next week. Like I said, we're going to be using it daily, and then you'll use it on the final exam. All homework assignments, every single homework assignment we have done this semester, if you have not turned that in and you would still like that opportunity, this Friday at 11:59 p.m. is when all of those close. So please make sure that you get them and turn them in to me before then. Your review on Canvas, you want to click on the big blue button that says click here for today's lesson. You're going to scroll down, and right underneath where it says bell work, it has final exam review, Unit 7, Systems of Equations. That's what you guys need to work on during class time today. If you don't get that finished up during class time, you'll need to finish that outside of class, but I want you guys to go ahead and work on that. Last but not least, I'm going to pass out the reference sheet that you get to use on the final exam. So there's directions on the front side of it. Make sure that you take the time to read those. The only thing you should write on this side is your name on this line. No other writing should go on this side of the page whatsoever. You can write anything you want to on the other side, but it must be your handwriting. No typing a bunch of stuff in and printing it off in size 4 font. You cannot have lift-a-flap things. You cannot attach anything to this side of the page, with only one exception. If you would like to put a graph on here, I have those graphing stickers, or I have small graphs. I will allow you to attach those if you'd like. But nothing else may be attached to this page, and everything else must be handwritten. What I have seen in the past students do that works out really well for them is we have studied 8 different things this semester. So they will take their page and they'll fold it hot dog style first, and then they'll fold it hamburger, and then they'll fold it hamburger again, so that it makes 8 little rectangles on their page with fold marks, and that helps them stay organized. What I don't want to see happen for your sake is you get into the final exam and you spend more time hunting around on your paper going, I know I had an example of this somewhere, and you waste all of your final exam time looking on here instead of doing the problem that's going to be graded, okay? So find a way to organize this that makes sense to you. Do whatever works for you. I thought I would share something that I've seen work in the past. Anything else you guys need or want from me for the remainder of the class period, if you need help with problems, if you want advice or suggestions, if you want to work on an old homework assignment, I'm more than happy to help. But I do need you guys spending this time working on getting ready for your final exam. You can also work on this page as well. Yes, sir.
Did you work with them? Did you work with them?
Yes, you may absolutely work with a partner. Absolutely. You're welcome. Yes, if you want to work together with somebody else, you may absolutely do that.